What's going on, Jerome's? So your Minnesota Vikings have a lot of work to do, and this ain't a scene. It's a arms race in the NFC North, and the Vikings, they got to make some headway. Hey, Kwesi, some of your free agency gambles, some of your draft pick gambles, some of your medical guys, they got to start panning out, man. Like, we need to get after things to stay ahead of the greasy grimy Green Bay Packers and the low energy Detroit Lions and the crooked Chicago Bears, and still run the STEM division. Take over the North and never give it back. But there's a lot of questions, and the Vikings could be a transformative offseason, one of the more transformative offseasons in Vikings team history. But we have a plan. So here is the perfect offseason for the Vikings from our eyes right now. Now, there's going to be some transactions in here. You're like, oh, but what about the cap space? What's going on, bro? The Vikings only have about $40 million cap space. But we'll get to it. We'll explain, because and the Vikings have actually done a really good job getting ahead of dead cap hits, so this is not going to turn into a New Orleans Saints situation. Rob Brzezinski and company have layered a portfolio of future dead cap as well as void years. They've worked it well. They've worked it well. So, number one, perfect offseason. Kirko resigns for 2 years, $78 million. Now, that's $39 million per year. That is below market rate. And here's the thing, too. So, part and parcel of the current estimation of around $39 million in cap space includes $28.5 million void year dead cap hit from Kirk. So, if he leaves, $28.5 million becomes dead on the cap. But if he stays, that remains prorated over 4 seasons. So, the Vikings, depending on how they structure this new contract, could actually lower his cap hit in 2024. But Kirk, I know people are sick of me saying this, but calling a spade, Kirk gives this team the best chance to win in 2024 if he's fully healthy, right? And yes, you should find your quarterback of the future. No, re-signing Kirk does not preclude you from doing that. You can have your cake and eat it too in this situation. But, the way that Kirk has operated the offense over the last year and a half when he's been healthy has been sublime. And the Vikings are going to have to put up points. They're going to have to put up crooked numbers. JJ wants him here. Kirko had some very clear chemistry with Hawkinson as well as Addison. So Kirk, even though he's going to be 36 in August, again, he does give the Vikings the best chance to win. And they got to do something right now. It's never too late for now. It's a deep cut reference. Number 2, Jefferson extended. So again, I do think that JJ is in a holding pattern until he figures out what's going to go on with the quarterback position. Is Kirk back? Does he sign off on the future franchise quarterback? I think he obviously wants to do that before he signs away a big chunk of his prime. But 4 years, $124 million would make him the highest paid receiver in NFL history. Now, this could escalate because CeeDee Lamb, off of his fantastic year, is also up for an extension. So both of them could eclipse the $30 million per year that Tyreek Hill got. But just like Kirko, the Vikings, if they extend Jefferson, could reduce his cap hit because it's currently at $19.743 million due to his fifth-year option. So the Vikings, again, people say, well, where are you signing all these players from? Well, the fact that Kirko, Jefferson, and Daniil all have large, significant cap hits, top 5 on the team this year, and if they actually extend, could lower the number. That's where you get it from. Next up, number 3, speak of which, yes. Hashtag pay Daniil. Take care of him. He is going to be 30 in October, but he proved with his big sack season, a 16.5 career high, as well as tied for the league lead in tackles for loss. He's a team player. He gets it done. He fits in well with the Flores regime and scheme. And also, he was the only guy who could consistently get his own pass rush, especially once DJ Wanham got hurt. So taking care of him, $20.333 million per year. It's actually a steal. It's actually great value when you see edge rushers getting 25, 26, 27 million per season. And also, he currently has a $14.903 million void year dead cap hit due if he does leave. So the Vikings could adjust things and lower that number as well. Next up, number 4. Creating cap space. So O'Neal and Hawkinson restructured. O'Neal is due a $14.4 million base salary. Hawkinson $9.9. Now you could do a classic restructure. And again, you only restructure guys that you see playing for the duration of the contract. And O'Neal restructured last year. Hawkinson, certainly, if and when he gets healthy, is going to be part of this team long term. So no muss, no fuss there. And that's another way that the Vikings can create cap space for these moves. Number 5. This one sucks, but Harrison retires or is back on a significant discount. So Harrison Smith, respect. Took almost a 50% pay cut last season to return to the Vikings. This time around, $14.45 million base salary. The Vikings can save around $10.48 million in cap space if he's cut or if he retires. And I don't know, just the tone from Harrison as of late, and the fact that he's been more active on social media. I think that he will hang them up. I think that him going to be 35, I think him having lots of interest outside the game. I mean, hell, he might become a commercial pilot. And also his growing family, I think that I think he'll step away. I really do. Next up, number 6. And also him stepping away also helps the Vikings with their cap situation. So re-sign Reisner, Hicks, Powell, and DJ Wanham. Now Reisner is really the only one who's going to get significant money, probably $7-8 million per year. Hicks, I would absolutely love to have him back. His veteran leadership was invaluable. Plus he thrived in the Flores scheme. Plus, I mean, he played after his shin was cut open like a fish. Brandon Powell, I like Brandon Powell as a return man. He's okay as a return man, but as a tertiary receiving option, wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4, and also the fact that he just would have key catches. Like, he was what KJ Osborne used to be. He was what KJ Wright used to be. So I do think that Jerry is right. Combining names. He was clutch, and I would love to have him back if the price is right, as well as I don't want him tush pushing. That's all. And speaking of price is right, so DJ Wanham, before he tore up his quad, he had 8 sacks this season. He was a nice compliment to Danielle Hunter. Now, this should not preclude you from potentially adding edge in free agency, and especially the draft, but having a guy that you know that you can rely on as a second or third option rushing the passer, and Wanham definitely thrived to a degree in the new Flores scheme. Yes, 100% absolutely in on that. Next up, number 7. Sorry, I'm watching the end of the Nets and the Blazers game. Sign a premium free agent defensive lineman. Now, again, so redoing a couple of deals, as well as extending guys with large cap hits and maybe Harrison retiring. That's how you're going to find your money. And guys like Christian Wilkins, of course, his ties with Brian Flores, the first draft pick that he had in Miami. DJ Reader of the Bengals, if his health is good to go. Sheldon Rankins of the Texans, even though he's a little bit long in the tooth. Justin Matabuke with the Ravens, if you just want to go all in. Now, Matabuke and Wilkins certainly could be franchise tag, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there, man. And the whole thing about it is, ooh, baby, Portland, Rose City. But the Vikings do need to restack up that defensive lineman. They do need to get after things. And we did a rant in the car. It was like, hey, we got to bring. We are the franchise of the Purple People Eaters. We got to bring that back, man. There you go. Next up, and also, I mean, the Vikings have had decent luck with free agent defensive linemen in the past. You look at Linval Joseph, you look at Pat Williams, you look at, Jared Allen was a trade, but you know what I mean. You're good to go. Next up, number 8, sign a premium free agent cornerback. And again, where do you get all this money? From the deals. We already talked about it, but just really go for the pin, man. Like, I know that Jaylon Johnson, I mean, the Bears are probably going to franchise tag him, but what if they don't? What if they don't? All in on the pride of Utah, or L'Jarius Sneed of the Chiefs. Maybe he'll keep his helmet on this time around, or Akela Willispoon of the Rams. So, paying a premium up, because Byron Murphy had his ups and downs, but he was clearly the Vikings' best cornerback last season. And getting someone in the mix where, yes, it would be great to draft your own cornerback, but if you bring in someone who can do the damn job, that has NFL tape, and stylistically will fit in what Flores wants to do on the outside, yes, go get him. Next up, number 9, quarterback of the future. So even if the Vikings do re-sign Kirk, that does not preclude them from sticking and picking and taking a quarterback at 11. That does not preclude them from going all in, shoving their chips in, moving all the way up for May or Williams or Daniels. It really doesn't. It really does not. So evaluate. Your scouts have done the work. Kwesi's done the work. And now, Kevin O'Connell and the coaching staff going through who could be that guy. And also, if you extend Kirk, you could have your quarterback sit for a year, maybe two. And yes, I understand you look at C.J. Stroud, and everyone wants everything now. But, you look at Jordan Love. Jordan Love sat for 3 years, and then he eventually took over. And I think that it could be a very similar spot here with the Vikings, where especially if you bring in a quarterback that needs some work, mechanics-wise, you look at Penix, Nix, McCarthy, all of these guys would benefit from sitting, waiting, wishing Jack Johnson style, learning how to be a pro's pro, learning the ins and outs and everything of this offense, as well as learning his teammates, as opposed to learning on the field on the fly. Yes, I think that does make the most sense. But also, I don't know, man. If they trade all the way up, I just start them. Or 1 year. We'll see. And lastly, perfect free agent, perfect Vikings offseason thing number 10, stock up on defensive line. So I really like this part of the class where there's not like a tier 1 defensive tackle, although I think Newton could end up being a relatively high first-round pick. But, the Vikings, if they stick and pick and take a quarterback at 11, that's fine. I think they should maneuver and take multiple defensive linemen in the middle of this draft. I love Murphy the second. I love Tavondre Sweat. I love Taylor the third. Howard Cross the third isn't easy. Didn't even crack our top 10. That's how good we think this class is. Michael Hall Jr. from Ohio State is versatile. I love him. Chris Jenkins is the man. You saw him in the national title game. Ruke Ororo. Clemson as teammate Tyler Davis, I like a lot. Mason Smith, Skol SU. Jaquelin Roy's former teammate. Brandon Dorless. There's going to be some really talented dudes along this defensive line. And the Vikings, hey, you got Harrison Phillips for another year. Maybe work out an extension with him. Bring in Christian Wilkins and rack up 2 or 3 of these dudes. Let's go. Let's go. Again, rebirth along the defensive line. That's exactly what the Vikings need. But that's it. That's it. Tam, things for a Vikings perfect offseason. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But next time, we hit it. Production value.